Alright, so the next tutorial series is going to be making a first-person game, basically a survival shooter game. So first thing we need to do is to make a new project. So what I'm going to show you to do real quick before we start a new project is go to your installs. So, open up Unity Hub and then you'll see installs. And then you'll see all of the ones that you have installed. I probably have more than you because I've been doing this longer. But you see I have this one here. What I want to do is just get the latest. It's always best just to get the latest version. So I'm going to click on Add. And then it's going to give me some options. You see there's 2020.3. So I have 2020.2.1. So this is the latest and greatest. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and grab that one. I'll hit next. And then right here, I'm just going to choose what I want to install. I'm not going to install the Microsoft Visual Studio Community because we've been using Microsoft Visual Studio Code. Community is just like a bigger version of it. It's got a lot of extra stuff in it, but honestly, it's slow. So and then I just am going to put on Mac build support. These basically are what it can output to. So I have Android as one of the things it can build to, Mac, Windows, WebGL. I put those in there. You can add the documentation, which honestly I don't need that either. That's just extra bloatware. That's good. I'll hit done. Now you're not going to need all of those items. Yep. You're not going to need all of those items. I don't suggest installing all of them. You can probably just get away with the Windows, just the Windows install or the Mac install. Now, eventually, if you do want to try and export it to Android or something, you can do that. I add the WebGL one because, as you probably have noticed, I like to export out my games onto my website so that you guys can see what we're making. And most of the time, that's actually how I'm building them is for those. So anyway, just go ahead and do that. Download the latest install, and then when this is done installing, I'm going to go ahead and start this up again. But I'm going to pause it until this is done because this install usually takes a little while. Well, after about a half an hour, it should be installed. Another thing you might need to do, you might need to do this even before you install it, I'm not sure, but before you start the project, make sure you go up here and make sure you sign into your account because we're going to start using the asset store today, and in order access your asset store items, you're going to need to be logged in. So just make sure that you're logged in. It's up here. Just log in and what have you. Okay, now let's go back to projects. Okay, so we're going to create a new project. So I'm just going to hit add. And and we need to choose where we want to put this. So I'm going to put this as first person game for 2. I'm going to put it right in there. Why is that an invalid project path? Oh, because it's add. Sorry. We got to do new. I'm going to do new, and I'm just going to go ahead and choose my latest version here. I don't know why I add. Adds if you add a new, like if you already have a project. Sorry. I meant new. Choose the latest version. And then last time we did 2D. This time we're going to go ahead and we're going to use 3D. Okay? So let's move this over here. I don't know what's talking about there. But anyway, so we're going to go here, and I'm just going to call this first person game. And it's looking there, but I'm going to go ahead and put this in this one, just because I have multiple first person game for Toot. That already exists. Really? First person game for Toot. We'll just do that. Okay. So yeah, just want 3D. You might have other options here. So you can see basically these are sample projects that you can use. And if you ever want to try and open one of these and what have you, you can see like they have these pre-made games, which is pretty cool. But we're just going to start off with a basic 3D thing here. You can see you actually have to download these anyway. So we're going to select this. I'm going to hit create. It's going to go about making the project. When it's done making the project, then I'll show you. All right, so here is our game. Okay, so the interface is a little bit different because I updated it from last lab. But what you're going to notice that basically it starts out in 3D. It's actually the same thing as 2D mode. But now it's 3D mode. And to navigate, you can do it one of 2 ways. There's probably a third way, but there's 2 main ways. One is to do it if you're used to using Maya or most other 3D applications, is you hold Alt, left mouse button, middle mouse button, and right mouse button. So middle mouse button pans, left mouse button rotates, and right mouse button zooms in and out. And I think, yeah, you can also do scroll wheel. The other way to do it, which I think is a really neat way, and for some of you guys that are going to be more on the coding end and not interacting that much with 3D, although I would still do it this way even if I was doing that, if you hold the right key down, you're going to see that it shows the WASD keys, and then you can use your WASD, and you can move through like it's a video game, but you have to hold the right mouse button down as you do it, which I think is really neat, especially when you're like in the game. This works pretty well, and actually, as you hold it down, it gets faster and faster, which is good because that way it kind of scales. Um, anyway, so those are kind of the main ways of working in the game in 3D. All right, so we're going to need to do a couple different things here in order to make this work. So if we go to play the game right now, you're just going to be looking through the main camera, and that is not a first-person controller. Now, we could make one manually. That is one way of doing it. But instead, what I'm going to do is we're going to use the Asset Store. So you're going to notice that there's this other tab here, Asset Store, which you may or may not have noticed before. They actually changed the way this works. So if you click on it, you're going to see it's going to go blah, 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 blah. So basically what it's going to do is that they used to be able to access the Asset Store from inside. But now they've gotten rid of that. It has something to do with it makes this faster, I guess, than like the Unity engine is faster by having it online. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and click search online. It will automatically open up a browser window, which opened it up on my other monitor here. So let's bring this guy over here. It's going to automatically open it up in here. But it's also just assetstore.unity.com. Just look up Asset Store and you'll probably get here. Now, more than likely, you're going to need to log in too. So let me just, see. So I'm not even logged in. So the first thing you should do is log in. So I'm just going to sign in. Because this has to be the same sign in that you're signed in Unity in the engine. So I'm going to sign in real quick first because, all right. Well, mine was already, I think I might have already signed in from a while ago, so it automatically signed me in. But you might have to put in your credentials. It's the same username and password you created when you created a Unity account in order to install this. And then in here, I think where is that? Sometimes you have to, right here. So you go to account, and then you can sign in as well. Okay, so make sure you're signed in here, and make sure you're signed in the other one, just so that the two things are more or less linked. Okay, so from here, what the Asset Store is, and this is one of the niceties of Unity, is that it's basically a store. It's a big library of all these different assets. And now when we say assets, what we mean are models, tools, code, game templates, all the things that you would need in order to make a game, basically. So some of the ones that are really neat that you could do is, actually, they have categories. So let's do assets. Where are the categories? It's not even... well, one thing we're going to need anyway is the first-person controller. So type in first in the search assets here. First-person controller. And there should be like a mini one. So I'm just going to hit enter or whatever. And it's gonna show this, right? Now, you can see they have ones for a cost. Look at $210. And they have a whole bunch of these, okay? And so basically they have all these things. Most of them cost money. Most of them are like between $5 to like $20, okay? These are kind of expensive. But if you're making a first-person game, these would be kind of important aspects to them. Anyway, so what you can do is you can search for it, and then over here you can see they actually have categories. So you can see there's 3D categories, which basically means this is only showing what's there, but you can have models. Basically, there's 3D things that you would make. There's templates, which basically that means it's like things that are games. Like basically it's full-fledged out games that are kind of like an empty shell that you can put your own 3D assets in. And sometimes the tools, what those will be, are often like plugins. Sometimes they're scripts. Things that help you develop the game will be in here as well. There's more categories in this. I think this is only ones that these line into. So anyway, that's what it's going to do. What you need to do is click on pricing and click on free assets because, yo soy muy pobre. We're going to do free assets, and then you'll see this mini first-person controller, okay? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to click on that guy, and it's going to go free. And all you got to do is give this a second, and it's going to say add to my store or something, add to my asset store. It'll say something like that. I already have it. And then that will be added to your asset store. So all you're literally doing is saying, okay, this is something that I can use. And it's just keeping a library for you that's on the cloud somewhere. So you'll have a whole reservoir of things that you've downloaded like that, okay? Now, Let's go back to home. And you can see there's all sorts of different things in here. So here we go. So 3D, 2D stuff, textures, materials, templates, like I said, are basically just game templates, animations, GUI, all sorts of things here. Underneath the tools, there's some tools here. They have ones that are made by Unity themselves, so they have a lot of like tutorials and things. So if you ever do any of the tutorials online, this is actually where you're probably going to get the assets that they're using in the tutorial are typically in here. Okay, so anyway, they have all these different things, and you can totally look through it. And I highly suggest this going on there and like downloading some games. Like if you find any free ones, it's like real-time strategy template. Just download it, open it, and then try to use it and see how they made things. You know, or you see like a cool first-person shooter game. You could download these games, be like, I really like this aspect of it. Try to find the code that makes that happen, and then utilize that. So it's a really great reservoir of just possibilities. Okay, I'm going to leave this like this, and we're going to go back to Unity. So I added that basically to, I'm going to click back on scene. I added that basically to my list of things. So now to actually bring it in here, maximize this, to actually bring it in here, you go to Window, and then you go Package Manager. Okay, and it's going to bring up this. Now by default, it's going to say Packages in Project. So right now it's refreshing my packages. So that basically, when it says packages and project, that means everything is currently in my scene. And you can see it already has all these things in there. There's also my assets. It's also built in. You want to go to my assets. What the my assets are all the things that are in your library that you have clicked on and said, oh, I want to add this to it. So this is my assets. So all the stuff that I've put in here, that I've clicked on and said, oh, add that. I mean, I didn't do it this time because I already had it from before. That gets added into here. And so you'll see all of them in here. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to find. Now, if you don't see them all, you can click on this right here, this load, and this will load the rest of them. Now all 40 packages are showing. I don't know why they don't show them all by default, but there you go. Anyway, so I've already clicked on that one. So now what I want to do is go and find it. So it was mini first-person controller, right? And I can expand it. It says it's currently downloaded, which means that some of these might not be. So let's say grass game ready. You can see this one's not downloaded. See how there's a little down arrow? This one I've already downloaded. If there's a newer version, I'll have to re-download it again. But if it's not downloaded, all you're going to do is you can click download, and then you'll click import. In this case, I already have this downloaded, so I don't have to hit download. You'll have to hit download here. But then when you're done hitting download, it'll take a second. You're going to click on import. It's going to bring up a window over here, okay? And then it shows you all the things. And what's cool is you could just turn off things you don't want in there. I'm just going to go ahead and grab it all. Just I think it's easier to just take everything. But anyway, so we'll hit import. And then what it's going to do is it's just going to basically put a folder or folders, depending on what the asset is. And you're just going to show up in your assets folder. You'll see it pop up down here. Now, usually these are just one folder, and they'll have whatever it is that they made in there. So all the scripts, and like you see, there's WAV files. So there's audio that comes with this, prefabs, whatever else there is in there. You can just import them, and then there they are. Okay. So there's the first person controller. Yay. Okay. So I'm just going to exit out of this, and we're going to bring more stuff in a second. And just to make this work, we're going to need a couple of things. So I'm going to take my first person controller. And you can see when I double click on it, it comes with audio, some demos. So a lot of times if you double click on these, they'll actually have like a demo scene that you can open and see how it works. These are the scripts that it's using. So it just has these two and then also these scripts. Usually there's like README in here somewhere. Yeah, right here, README. There's all that sort of stuff, right? So depending on what you're grabbing, you're going to want to like look through it. I'm not that concerned. This one actually comes with two flavors. It has first person full, and it has first person controller. I think the full one just has more options in it, so I'm just going to grab the full one. Instead of just dragging it in here, it's going to go into space. So if I drag it in and hit play, I'm just going to fall. Like, I'm not going to go anywhere. So I need something to land on. So just so that we have something, I'm just going to go to game object. We'll go 3D object this time. So instead of where is it? I guess they don't even show it in here. So instead of the 2D stuff, we're going to go, and we can do cube, sphere, blah, blah, blah. Let's just go ahead and do plane. So it'll make a plane. Looks pretty fabulous. Okay. I'm just going to zero all of its information out. 0, 0, 0. And so you can see it's right in the center of the scene. And now what I can do is drag this prefab up there. So I'm going to grab the one that says full. And if I drag it up here, it's just going to pop open wherever. But watch, if you actually drag it into the scene, you're going to see it actually, which is kind of neat, it'll snap onto the surface. So if you have like a whole scene made out and you drag it out, whatever object it is, a prefab, it actually snaps to it, which is pretty handy. I'm actually going to go ahead and take this main camera and delete it. I don't need that because I'm going to be using this guy as my controller. So now if you hit play, oh, actually, you know what? Does that? I can't remember if this actually has a rigid body attached to it. I have to attach a rigid body to that, or a collider of some sort. Okay, it does. And now you can see I can look around, and if you use your WASD keys, actually, his arrows work too, or arrow keys, and space does jump, right? And let me see, a shift crouch. I'm not sure, but and you can move with your mouse, and you can move around, and yay! Man, this is running slow on my computer. Good. Okay, so we have a basic kind of thing going on here. It's a start. We're going to get rid of this, at least this part here. So I'll hit escape so I can see my cursor again. I'm just going to go up and stop it. And you can see we have a start. So the next thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and build a terrain. So we're going to cover terrain in the next one. That's a whole big thing in of itself, but at least we have a start of a game, okay?